I'm Malissa. We got Ryan here. We got Paul here, new face, this beautiful face right here. And this is the betrayal body. So we're having Paul on as a guest today. I'm sure he'll be back because he has a really, really freaking incredible story in so many different ways. And I have barely scratched the surface with it. But he's also a veteran, and we're having him on here because his story is extremely important. And we have no idea where this is going to go today with your story, Paul, because I haven't even really heard of it. But he was talking about wanting to share about his awakening because so many people feel alone and isolated in their journeys. And it's hard to have anything to compare it to or like anchor to know, like, am I freaking crazy? Am I losing my mind? That's the number one thing you'll go through over and over and over again. So welcome, Paul. And
I'm very
I'm
glad to
glad
be
you're here.
here.
Paul, tell us about like wherever you want to start with it. Is like, where do you begin?
Man, I think so. I've been trying to put this together and be able to share it verbally over the past 3 years because when I first started waking up in the fall of 2022, I would try to tell people and they would just shut down and they looked at me like I was crazy. So, um, the the people that I knew were like military, conservative Christian, Bible Belt, all that good stuff. And I was raised in Christianity. And then my parents were conservative. Let me throw these quotation marks in there. And so I was raised that anything spiritual was sending you to hell and that you couldn't connect with yourself because that's like just absolutely wrong because there's only one way to get to heaven. So this was programmed into my brain for nearly, I guess, 40 something years, 39, 40 years. And so I would stray, I would be backslidden, I would try to come back and all the guilt tripping. So I'd been through like so much pain and trauma in my life that I was always like, I finally got to the point where I started seeking. I had this final straw and I was like, I'm done with God. I'm done with Jesus. Don't believe it anymore. And I was like, God, like, prove me that you're real or creator, whatever the higher entity is, because like I always knew there was a higher power. And so I
How
stepped
did
away
you
from
know?
religion. I was like, done with it. And so,
All
and
right, Job.
it's like my belief in a creator was still there, but I was like, I'm done saying all this other stuff. I would like a
Yeah.
little proof now after 40 years, not to be arrogant or anything, because like I'm like a speck, a moment in time of all the vastness of the universe and all of the time that's ever existed or will exist. And so this incarnation here is this just little bitty speck, a blink of an eye. But I was like, I would like a little bit of like a little salute from the heavens or what it might be. So this is legit like the very first night it started. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast and he was talking about DMT. And these guys were talking about the DMT trips and how they would go in, they would see different entities, and they would basically just like attack their ego, or they would give them a huge download of information. And I'd talked to people before who had DMT experiences, and they're like, I stepped away with tons of knowledge about planet Earth. And they're getting these downloads. And this fascinated me. So I had been listening to many different podcasts about DMT, about people's different experiences. And so I was like, I'm gonna go into a meditation and I'm gonna imagine what a DMT trip is like. And I'm just gonna just try to connect with it that way. And I start going into this imagination and visualization, then something took over. Like literally my awareness like got expanded and all of reality shifted in my awareness. And all of a sudden I saw into the programming of reality. And I saw how our reality is held together by these two constructs that form it in the middle of these two things that are like moving together to form what we are experiencing. I cannot explain what I saw. Like, that's the best I can do after 3 years. But as I saw it, I had this understanding at a soul level of just like, oh, basically the veil was pulled back and it was shown to me like how it worked. Like, this is like a pivotal point in my life, this moment, because I was shown that I am in a temporary reality and there are forces at work that hold it all together. And everything literally shifted that day. The next morning I woke up and I saw everything with whole new eyes because I had just been given this massive window into the other side and a huge understanding that it's like I'd always been seeking. And literally, you know how in the army, they're like, we're going to force feed you from a fire hydrant or whatever, you know, it's like, you're going to get tons of
Yeah.
information. And
Yeah.
literally, this was the moment for like 3 months where literally every day was like full blast, like more information,
Damn.
more knowledge, more experience.
Was it
And
all
so I
through
walk out,
meditation?
do what?
Was it all through meditation?
No, no, it was while I was awake. It was all day. It was all the time. Tower moments, just non-stop supernatural occurrences. I would have crows come up and like land above me, near me, and just start crowing, like in different towns. I saw my very first wolf, like a full size, full blown wolf, cross the road in front of me. I was like, never seen that in my life. Started seeing birds of prey.
Damn.
I saw my first bald eagle fly over me. Me neither, but like when the soup, like when you get touched by the other side, the supernatural events that start occurring are ridiculous. So I started like learning about reincarnation. I started living past lives. Basically, it's like the character from these primary lives would be superimposed on me currently. So it was me then, now, but still my soul. I knew it was me, but it was just a different character. And I was like, I would be living this like about 3 or 4 days at a time as each character. Like, one, I was an alchemist. Think I had told you I was an Egyptian priest at one point in time. One of them, um, I was a witcher. No shit. And but here's and it's getting crazy. But here's why it was happening, and I was understanding this because it took me a few days to get grounded because I thought I was going crazy. Like,
Just a few
seriously.
days? Some
Well,
people it takes years, man. That's crazy that
training.
you could ground it in like that.
Well, I think it's because like I've been through so many traumatic things in my life, I can get grounded quick in chaos.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so, um, and and to backtrack just a little bit, it's like Quentin Tarantino here. It's gonna be like all messed up. In
Yeah, it's okay. Most
2007,
of us are ADHDers and shit, so we'll track. Yeah.
so in 2017, I had a vision of my future. Legitimately, I was sitting there at my computer working on a project, and all of a sudden, my consciousness got pulled out of my body, and I go into this first person view, and I start getting shown this whole facility that I was running. And then I was shown
Yeah.
every detail of how the place runs and how it operated. And then I pulled back out. And it was realer than real. But being a Christian, then you don't tell people you had a vision, you know? So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, yeah,
yeah,
Satan. Or whatever.
right?
What would they say? I don't know.
I don't know. They're like, that's
Blasphemy.
anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah, but you'll read a book about visions and you'll believe in that, you know? But it's like when it comes
Yeah.
in real life, you don't believe it.
Wait, I'm
So
curious real quick, Paul, because you're
yeah,
dropping a lot quick. When your lives were superimposed on you like that, were you like walking around in this reality, but you felt as if you were someone else? Like, what was that experience like? Like, how do you know you were living in the other character?
like I said, it took a few days to get that figured out. But I realized that it was still me. Like I knew it was me, but it was my soul that had been born into another body that was raised and had a different character. And that character was superimposed on me. But I was so connected to my soul, I could see this line. There was this water, like three-dimensionally through my mind, I could feel and sense this watery wave going in there, this line, like the whole time. And it was like the connection from the other side to here. And my senses were through the roof. I could see these like little silver golden like little gears all over me, like, and how things were working and operating from the other realm to this realm to operate this three-dimensional projection. um and it was like, and I could see this, and with my third eye when it opened up, you're just like, whoa, like.
Dude, this is exciting me so much because I I imagine, and you could just correct it from what you've experienced, but I imagine us. I've said this so many times now in the past, like couple months. So I'm like, it's like we're in a green screen room, almost with like VR headset on or something. I don't know, and we're like projecting this reality that feels extremely real, and our vessel or our soul is like operating it or whatever, or another aspect of us is operating it. I don't know. And and then we have a crew around us like whispering in our ear like, hey, go that way or whatever. And it drops in as like our thoughts, like in addition to our regular thoughts or something like that, because like it's our crew, our guides that come in and out of this room or something. That's kind of how I view it, but what's your take on that?
So I've had some drastic events that were just moments of like pulling out with awareness and seeing into the other realm. And it's almost like our souls are plugged in, and then we're so plugged into this like VR that we're in it, and it's like this is a biomechanical processing unit. And so it's processing everything in here to formulate it, to show it to our soul that's like plugged in. And to the best of my knowledge, the pineal gland is like the remote control. And when you get that sucker cleaned up and you know how to like crystallize it and amp it up, like you like, you go over the roller coaster and then you come down and you're like, oh my goodness, if that makes sense. And so it's like, you're plugged into it. Your soul's plugged into it, but you can't get out of it. I want to kind of circle back to where I was going through the past lives, and so one of the things that kept me grounded is that vision I had in 2017, because like this is at a soul level. And so I knew I had a purpose. So literally anything I've been through, I know that I'm going to make it through it because I have seen my future. And so it's like, oh, until I fulfill that, I'm not checking out because I have faith now. And so that kept me grounded, and exercise. And Ryan, you've talked about how you revved up and stuff. Every day I would go train and train as hard as I possibly could until I was just about to pass out, because that kept me grounded in this reality. So while I was going through these past lives, what I started getting, I'd be driving along and I would just all of a sudden get a download.
Mm-hmm.
And so in your mind, there's no time or space. And so I would get all this information and I would understand it in this brief moment. I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing. I know all of that. And then I'd take a step back and I'd look at it and like, that's going to take months to digest and unpack. And so during one of these periods, I was learning about witchcraft. And with my third eye being awake, I could see the energy and how it operated and worked. And I'm about to tell you something just ridiculous. So astral projection, this is when I learned that I could do it and it was real. And that covens of witches, they deal in the dark occulted secrets, and they deal in the other realm. And I found out that I had a coven of witches that had done a hex on me. And so literally I astral projected one night because like I was in full on spiritual combat mode when I was this version of me. Because at that point in the past, like I was basically a witcher. And this is I wish the Witcher movie did not exist or that show so it wouldn't
Well,
take
I haven't
validity from
seen
what I'm
it or I
saying.
know anything about Witcher, so what is a Witcher in your eyes?
It is someone that counteracts witchcraft. The witchcraft can be sensed, and a lot of it is wordcraft, how they position themselves verbally to take your power. It's been advanced to that level. And they can do witchcraft through rituals and things like that as well. And so like there is an energetic trail that gets left and they connect to a person in the unifying field or the spiritual realm, whatever you call it. Gosh, I don't even know if I should tell this. So basically, yeah, gosh, okay. So I
No
astral
fear.
projected to above this coven of witches who were doing a like not necessarily a seance, but they were doing a ritual. And so literally some of them had they could sense that realm because they were sensitive to it. And basically I poked my head in from the top, like my astral body, and I looked
So
down.
you're like remote viewing basically,
Yes.
like
And
this
then
live. Did it feel like it was live like
it
today
was
or
realer than
like the day
real.
you were doing it?
It was right
So
then.
like you didn't feel like you're going in the past or the future is like present?
No, it was right then. Like I popped out of my body, I sat down in meditation and like I did these hand gestures and then I
Yeah.
pop out and I pop down above them and like open up this hole and like I take their ability away to do any more witchcraft or power or anything like that. And then I pop back
Bro,
in my body. And I
guy that I sent you today, you gotta
yeah.
freaking watch him. That's one of his abilities. He can take gifts, which is like a very like reserved thing that like not very many souls can do because it's a big deal. That's
So
crazy.
during this time like I could start driving around and just follow my intuition. I had an evil detector and I would just drive around on a full moon and I would pull up to like a park and I would walk up to a tree and there would be something tied around the bottom with dripped wax where they did a binding ritual. And I would go cut the stuff off the trees and I would drive around town and find where witchcraft was done and I would undo it and unbind the stuff. During that time when I was like just driving around finding witchcraft, like that was been done, like I was real, like I could see the energy work and I could sense people's energy and like people have these entities attached to them. And I found out that where I live is just rotten with witchcraft, like all over
That's
the place.
insane.
It
Deep
was,
child.
it's, it's so ridiculous here. I was terrified for a few days. I was like freaking out. I was like, I had called my mentor. He was this dude who had like been helping me. But as I started going through my awakening and I told him, I was like, I think I'm going through enlightenment, he backed off. And he would be like,
Mhm.
what does that mean to you? What's this? And it's like, bro, supernatural crap's happening. And he invalidated almost every step of it, which sucked. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's exactly where I was going with it. I was thinking, what would my family think about this right now? Then I was like, oh yeah, I really don't care. If they're not going to take the time, and I love them, and I'm not going to talk crap about them, but I'm also not going to
Yeah.
give them my energy because they feel one way or another about what I've been through, or because they haven't been through what I've been through. Like, I would be more than happy to explain every little mechanism that has gotten me here because I took notes. Like it's all very grounded. I'm not out there, with a needle in my arm and that's I shouldn't, but I know people that have been like,
Yeah.
and that's it's an easy route, like because it's so heavy, and because you get so deval like devalued and everything.
Yeah, I
Nobody's
mean,
sensitive
a
to it.
lot of them are in the psych ward right now because everyone
Yeah.
around them, totally invalidated their experience, told them they're going crazy. What Paul is describing, dissociative identity disorder, like multiple personalities, like
Yeah, screw the
you
DSM.
truly believe you're this person and you know things, and like your experience is so real, and then you're gonna have everyone around you just like, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, we need to lock you up, we need to pump you full of drugs and all this. And like, how many people are going through this experience right now? And especially veterans who are pumped full of drugs and who are
Given a whole bunch of trauma.
definitely waking up right now because they have so much trauma in their history and they're sensitive to this stuff, and they're like dampening it with alcohol, porn, all kinds of stuff to like make it like to numb it out, and because they don't know what to do. Who the hell do you tell? No one in my family, including my mom, and I thought my mom was off her rocker. I have surpassed my mom in the weirdness, you know, in the wild stories and like experiences. I have 7 brothers and sisters. Not one of them cares about what I talk about. They literally shut me down every time I even open my mouth about anything. And it's not because they don't love me or anything like that. It's like, I was just there 2 years ago where I would have been this exact same way. Because you're like, it's the programming. It like literally pushes you from it. It's like, ugh, like, I don't want to be open to hearing about this. It's somehow gonna like harm me or something. It's like gonna.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like, well, what do you even do with that information? How do you ask questions about it without feeling like you are causing harm to the person by like feeding into their
enabling.
delusion? Right. Exactly. You don't know how to. This is why like the people waking up have to start talking to each other, because no one else is going to be out there validating you in your regular life, most likely. It's going to be like this type of platform where you're going to be like, oh, I'm not.
And it's outright dangerous.
And this is
sometimes.
how I ground. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in this
So, yeah,
spiritual
continue, Paul.
battle, like the way I see it, it's a spiritual battle, and the people that are waking up are rebalancing the systems, because so much of the control systems are based on language and speech, and that's how it's used to control people. And that frequency no longer lands. And it's like those constructs and those constraints are breaking. And so there's a new balance, was the power balance. It's being rebalanced because people that were scapegoated and the black sheep of family, they were just drained of their power the whole time. And now the power shift is changing. And so with that, the structures were set up to invalidate people waking up every step of the way. But in doing that, that is serving the purpose of testing us, of like, do you want to stay on this path? Are you going to accept your role? Because if you are, you must go through this wood chipper. And the thing is, you'll come out unscathed, but you must choose to continue your path. And it's like, oh, cool. You know, let's do it. It's going to suck, but I wouldn't want life any other way.
It does sometimes. Yeah.
But
like,
think about it.
It's like so exciting and so magical, and like you don't know what's coming next. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. When it starts getting monotonous, I'm like, what's next? Like, do something cool. Like, I want to do something new.
Go poke a go poke
I'm
a
hungry
wasp
for
nest.
it.
Like,
yeah, and I'm right. Like, I'm the type that's gonna run towards the danger. That's gonna be like, what was that noise? Let me go see. Like, let me go see if I can help. Or that's like my nature, and I imagine you two are the same way. Yeah.
It's like hell on earth would be stuck in one job for 40 years doing the same thing. But for me, it's like, what if
and that's what it is.
6 or 8 months, I'm ready to move on. Done. I'm done with it.
Yep.
Can't do it anymore.
And that's actually the problem with a lot of people with ADD, ADHD, like, and I'm just using that language so we all know what it represents or whatever, but not to diagnose or label people. But yeah, the big struggle with that is like you get these grand ideas, but you suck with the follow through. Or like it's difficult to stay there long because you're on to the next. And that's the power, though. That's the superpower. You're literally pulling from other dimensions and you're like bringing it to this reality, and you're meant then to delegate and like hire people or whatever you're supposed to do, create your tribe of people to push this out that are passionate about it, that may not be getting all the ideas, but they want to be like on boots on the ground. So you're more like leader material, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
And you create better things at that point, like than
Mhm.
what are
Yeah,
instituted right
you can
now.
keep the momentum. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you're blessed with this super creativity, but you get bored with it so fast that the next idea comes on and you just totally delve into it and nothing else exists. And then 2 weeks later, you don't care about it. It's like, I've learned about it, I've done some
Mhm.
of it, but like the thing is, like, about having a team to delegate it, like, I think the purpose of having such a horribly painful life is learning the value of caring for people, of not treating people like crap when somebody is given that power role of like, okay, here's money and here's power, where you tell people what to do, to the point where it's like you see somebody taking out the trash and you see yourself as equal, and you never see yourself as better because you have this power or a team or money. And so the only way
And
to understand that at a deep level is to suffer, like truly suffer.
into what you said about the trash thing and us both being infantry, like my the first sergeant at my first unit, he was that guy, and he was so soft spoken. And at first I was like, that's supposed to be the first sergeant, like that's not what. It's cognitive dissonance for me. And he was the guy that would hold the trash bags and go pick up while everybody's training, and like serve all of his soldiers, and like, no, you guys are soldiering right now, that's y'all's job, like this is my job. And I was like, holy crap, this guy. And I just got chills thinking about it, because like everybody respected him so damn much, and it was so counter to what every first sergeant in the big army ever, like he was such a rare leader. And
But it
like I
stuck
got
with you,
so
didn't it?
lucky. Oh,
I was
absolutely.
thinking the same thing. I was like, he's placed in your path so you can reference
Oh,
him.
dude, he was,
And we learn a lot from the
and
crappy ones too, yeah.
the second he moved on, because my unit was awesome, and the second he left, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. This isn't for me. Like, I like that better. This is what's really going on. Ha.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, because it wasn't going to get better than him. I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, he
First
treated you like
Sergeant
a
Smith.
human. Yeah,
Yeah.
no matter your age. And this is what you do. This is where the shift's going to start happening with children too, where we're going to treat them as equals as well. And not be
Oh
like, shut
man.
up, you're just a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
what
going
I
to be
do
the
with
change.
Reagan.
And so we don't have to do all this healing work
Yeah.
in the next generation. Like, and I think, and then Paul, you got to keep going with your story after this, but I think my theory is like you got to have some sort of catalyst or whatever to the awakening piece. And so if it's not going to be trauma, let's say from your parents, it might be other things. And like I'm thinking, like so many kids, like my daughter has tons of eczema and like all this stuff. Like I'm wondering if that has to be her catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
Like the or it's gonna be
Because
like
she
broken
wasn't going to get it
bones or
from you.
like basically, yeah.
So there's a story that Dr. Wayne Dyer tells. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him. Dyer, I think it's Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, but he was an enlightened individual. And he was telling a story about his little girl. When she was little bitty, she had these bumps that would come up on her skin. And they were trying to figure out how to make them go away and get gone or whatever, And there was this other person in their life that they sought counsel from. And you can find the story on YouTube when he tells it. And the gentleman tells him, your body will respond to what you want it to do at a genetic level if you just truly believe and have faith. And it it's your awareness that goes in and controls it. Because this is what I had. There's nothing outside of big and there's nothing outside of small. And so your awareness is not big or small. And it doesn't matter how big or small something is, what you can put your awareness on. And so basically, he had his daughter just ask them to go away. That's what they told him. It's like, just sitting there and ask them to go away. And so he said he was walking by his daughter's door and he heard her talking to her and just saying, she's saying, please go away. Please go away. Just talking to her like a friend. He's saying, it's like, I'm done with you. Don't need you. Just fully accepting they're there, but then requesting they leave. And I don't know the validity of the story, but they were gone. Shortly thereafter, they went away.
I believe that.
But
All
the
right,
way, when you
doing that.
tell a story, you hear a story and in your heart it resonates, or you're like, this is BS. Or you're like, oh man, I sense like truth here. And that story reminds me of what you're telling. I'm like, man, we're moving into a new era. And wouldn't that be something? Think about
Wow.
that. It's
That was
like,
happening.
Yep. I'll update you guys on what happened.
hey, I have full faith.
She's 2. She can talk. Yeah, she can talk now. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, but continue in your story because we're at you're following the witches and you see all the witchcraft.
So,
Dude, and how did they know to put a hex on you? Like, I know, like, energetically or whatever.
I was targeted.
They can tap into someone powerful. So someone probably told them about you or something.
There's people that I married. They married into my life. I didn't marry into their life, and so they expected me to conform, and I did not. But they are Masonic, and they practice craft work. And so my family line was Masonic also. And so these two Masonic families linked up randomly to have kids. And so they actually guide their families to connect with other Masonic families in secret. But also they practice craft work. And so they knew a coven. And it was a friend of theirs. And I'd been targeted specifically. By other practitioners as well. And my mother, like I'd mentioned, she was a craft practitioner as well. But the thing, what a witch does is they hide behind Christianity. So it's the veil they hide behind. So it's like, I'm a Christian. You can't accuse me of that while they're practicing their craft work. And so it's the perfect place to hide. Religion, if you practice the disciplines of religion, you dress right, you say the right words, you read the certain amount, and you go to the services at the right times, and you present yourself in the right manner, you can hide all the evil in the world, and nobody will doubt you. And that's the perfect place for evil.
So touching on the witchcraft thing, and you said word work earlier, and I have the way it works. Okay. And you got, like, say you have, I can do it with my hands better. That was a bad idea. Like, a writing, and you put one line here, you put a bunch of good stuff under it, and then you lock it in with another bad thing, and like everything, you put it in a box. Like, so all of that, if you're following the whole thing, like just those 2 lines, that's all you need to screw the whole thing up. Like, and you have to be very meticulous with it. And, some are better than others at it, but that's how it works. And I'm still working on how mechanically that would, because you can see it, it when you see it, if you kind of have a feel for it, but just the mathematics of it, almost like
Wordcraft.
I don't know. That's kind of, yeah, because it's absolutely true. And
so here's
so, like,
a rabbit
the words
trail.
being spells is like what you're talking about, Paul.
And
Ryan, yeah.
Well, it's like energetically, you have a totally different intention than what you're saying, and it's like you can feed off of them energetically by like saying this backhanded comment that sounds like a compliment, but it's actually a stab. And so then they feed off of them energetically to the entity they have done craft work with. And I got a rabbit trail here if y'all don't mind. So here is my spiritual, and I hate saying spiritual because it's so connected to religion, but religion is like masks our connection with that realm or our spirituality. Just like Native Americans, they were very in touch. And then they came in like, you must believe this. We're going to beat the crap out of you and destroy you and kill you all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, they didn't need a
And
book.
gave them alcohol.
Yeah, you didn't need a book. They were already connected with the crap. So, you know how there's like narcissists, like in Washington State or Florida or Tennessee, or there's a family that has a scapegoated child in one part of the country. The same crap happens in another part of the country. And so I always wondered, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how can this exact like personality type happen randomly at different places, but exactly the same nation, like worldwide, but I know for in the nation for a fact.
We're like, yeah.
And so I was like,
We know.
how like do scapegoat families do this? But it's like with a narcissist, they never go to school and learn these scripts. They never sit there and learn how to reverse things. It's just this natural occurrence. So here is my
Yes.
theory. It's not a natural occurrence. That there is an entity that they get attached to that gives them this ability in speech to basically feed off of somebody's energy. Because when I first started learning about narcissists, they wanted supply. You know, they wanted the person to blow up by gaslighting. And that supply is energy. So through the wordcraft that they are given with this attachment to an entity either through trauma,
Mm-hmm.
which is passed on to them, or through a ritual, a binding ritual, which a lot of people don't know when they do a binding ritual. They don't know they're like doing a binding ritual to an entity. They're just doing a craft ritual with these witches, you know, or these warlocks or these masons. They're doing this ritual, but an entity is attaching to them. And this entity, because we're energy portals in this realm, and we, through our words and our actions and our, what's it called, intentions, we form how our energy gets put out. And we're like a socket, basically, a light socket. And we can form and shape it. That's why humans are programmed in the society, just like we're going to form you and shape you for your energy output in this capacity for this amount of time to do this crap. And we're going to train you and program you to do it because we want your energy. And so it's like these entities will attach to a person to be able to use that wordcraft to pull that energy out of somebody else. And so then my theory was like, oh, this is not a random occurrence. This has happened on such a large scale that this is spiritual craft work. Like this is like playbooks in the spiritual realm. It's like, this isn't an accident. This isn't random. It's like, this needs to be looked at from a level of like a 5,000 foot level of like, oh, wow, look at all these lights appearing of these narcissists. Let's look at their traumas. Let's look at who they're associated with. And then they've been disconnected from their own self. Now they need to pull energy off of other people, but then that's getting fed off to another source. It's like, and I call it the energy wars.
I can identify as being on the narcissistic kind of spectrum or whatever for a long time in my life.
Me too.
And I think we had to experience this to have empathy for one, for the experience, and to know what it's like to be that asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had like a kind of a succubus entity. It was a succubus entity attached to me. It looked exactly like Venom, like identical to Venom, like with the leathery freaking long ass like legs and shit. And it crawled like that too. But I can recognize, like Ryan talked about once, it's the empathy flipped, like opposite towards the person rather than towards everybody else. In the DNA and how do you describe it, Ryan?
So it's an epigenetic like, yeah, they're switches. And like, if we understand all these points that we have, so it's blunted in facing their direction. Like, it's supposed to be able to move, like we're supposed to be able to go one direction or the other with it. Theirs got locked in, blunted, facing their own way. And they feel only empathy for themselves. Like, if you could tell, you could be right there bleeding out, and one of my, what's the song, and if I should die, you know I'd
It's like a punk rock song.
apologize for
You sound-
bleeding on your shirt. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
what a
know.
narcissist is.
Went to their concert.
And yeah, like, in their feels, because of
Yes.
narcissists, and they
And so
would,
I've been
yeah, you do
Dude.
feel like you have to fucking apologize. Fucking
All right.
apologize.
So
No, I'm not gonna
my
call you.
kid, he's 3, okay? So he had a trauma when he was 1. Like, he freaking took my coffee and it spilled all over him. It burned his entire face and neck. And I don't know if it was after that or not, because he like couldn't really talk as much. He's freaking 1. But he has this going on, and I know I can identify it because I had this thought process as well before, but I also treat people all the time with narcissistic, stuff.
Mhm.
So how I know this is, like, I built a tower of blocks and at my son's baseball game, and my son, the 3-year-old, comes over with a water bottle and hits it over, and I was like, "Aw, you knocked down my tower. I'm gonna have to rebuild it." And he's like, "I didn't hit it. The water bottle did." And so it, like, right away, no accountability, can't look at himself, like, can't take cannot just drop the guard, drop into softness and vulnerability, and humble himself right away. He pushes his sister, he does stuff, he points and laughs. And and I know, and then so my 2-year-old, opposite, super soft, like very, like, feels everything. It's like I, I'll like do the same thing with the blocks or something. She'd be like, "Mommy," and like hug me and stuff. And like that's kind of like the natural response you would expect. And so I'm like, from a mental health standpoint, I'm like, okay, this is a survival instinct, but you're adding another layer to it where it's like there's an order of operations, I imagine, that happens. Where how they're perceiving the trauma and how it anchors in, and then they're like, got him, or something like that is how I perceive it. But I don't know if Paul, if you want to expand on that, because you were talking to me today about how how it anchors
So,
or something like that.
man, and this is a little more dealing with entities, because children's, like, their concept of self and their awareness is still forming, and this is theory. Like, I can't show like a paper and a video and be like, this is proof, but kids are very vulnerable to an entity being attached to them and temporarily taking over their actions. It's like getting in and like using their functions. It's not them, but it's like basically using their functions for a short period of time. But when somebody
Plasticity.
goes through trauma, it's so shocking. Like, they can literally pull out for a second, as in like detach their identity, because like the
Yeah.
human system, like,
Yeah, we were talking about that last episode.
I call it the character reel, where like it pulls out really quick in a defensive manner, so it stops recording. It's like, but the thing is, it is recording, but it's not recording for that character to recall. It can come up later in time.
Mhm.
So it's like, it's ready to pull out. And so it pops out maybe for a split second. And in that split second, its ability to slip in and take over shortly happens. And here's the bad part. It's still getting programmed in. So whatever actions it performs, it's like basically programming that into the child to perform in their character reel, or in their character.
Right.
So it's
And then as an adult, the response to, say, pushing his sister and pointing and laughing, if we approach that with shame of
Mm-hmm.
like, why would you do that? You're a bad kid.
guess what you're feeding that entity?
Got him. Yep.
Yep.
That's what they want.
They use
Mhm.
children.
Because I can spot it, I'm like, ooh, no. You're not getting this.
Yeah.
You're not getting this little boy. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you meant to da.
And
Yeah. And like communicating to his psyche, his identity,
Mhm.
he's still a good kid.
and when I realize like the bigger picture is like it it wants whatever it is, like your energy is what they're after. Or like everything is all about, it comes down to energy. It wants to drain and take your energy. So I would get triggered by my kids doing stuff from my childhood. So then it's like,
Mhm.
my subconscious or my character wheel is like, how do I respond to this? Looking through the data files, looks back to my childhood, sees this adult doing this. Okay, pull in this like player piano like record. It puts it in. It's like, play this, and I start. It's like, I just heard my father. I heard my mother. I was just acting like my mother. That's because it was like a 3-dimensional program that gets put on you because you don't know how to act then. But it's like feeding off that energy. So it's like, then I was like, okay, I have to freaking go in and I have to hijack. I have to pull the needle off the record and I have to put in real programming in real time. Otherwise, I'm going to program into my kids what my parents inadvertently programmed into me.
Mhm.
And so then I was like, what program do I put in? And then I was like, how do I freaking hijack this on my own so I can pause everything in real time and put in the new? Because when you get triggered, you're just like, fuck, 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 fuck. And you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Like, what the fuck? Sorry, kids. Sorry, world. Like, I just freaked the fuck out and I didn't know that programming was in there.
Mhm.
And like, I used to have narcissistic tendencies, and I hate to admit that. But me just admitting that, like, I had those freakouts is hard. But all humans I've seen have them. It's like the older you get, the better you get at hiding them from the world and hiding them until somebody scratches at the surface and
Yeah,
you're like,
and if you can't, you're still stuck in it.
yeah,
Like,
And
it's
I've
all right.
developed an eye for it because I've been it. So I'm like, you ain't hiding, dude. I can see right through what you're saying, but it's not my place to call it out, but it is my place to help them become aware. Because that's the thing. It's like no one actually wants to be this way. Like deep down, their soul does not. It feels so wrong with it on until you embody it, like we were talking about before with like the evil people in the world. They're like, well,
Mhm.
this is just me. And they're going to
Yep.
become
And
the entity.
it's supposed to destroy you. Like, but when they blunt it back at themselves, they can. That's where they get their energy. That's why they don't, just shrivel up and die. Like, you know, they have to suck that life force from other people because they take it, alchemize it, make it theirs. Like,
Yeah. They don't want to kill
that's
their host.
no, that's
no.
that's illogical.
So, still rabbit trailing here. What I've discovered or had revealed to me is like responding to a narcissist. It's like it's so easy to respond in anger or like be like point them out, or somebody that's just and a narcissist is such a like thrown around term, but somebody that's like denying reality and feeding you words that make you mad. And I was like, how do I like circumvent this? Like basically like lure them out and be like, you're safe. And it's like I see your soul, like you're safe. And it's like love, like no shame and blame or judgment, and don't give them back anything except compassion, you know? And that is so hard because like the human condition, you want to attack back. The ego is like, get them. It's like, I know all their flaws and all their chinks in their armor versus just, hey, you're safe here. And I feel like that way they start to like poke their little heart out and their soul out because they've been hiding back there so long. They're so scared from their traumas to poke their head out because they're going to
Yeah.
get hurt, and because they're a narcissist, people treat them like shit for so long and discard them as friends after a while, and so it's like they've been hurt so much they're guarding their heart, so people have to come along that are no longer vulnerable to their word attacks and their actions, and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
like, like your heart's there, your soul's there, I see it. You don't have to be scared around me because I'm not going to shit on it, And it's like
Yeah.
opening the gates in there. It's like, it's been a while. But the nervous system is so used to being in that, it wants to go back to that, Joe Dispenza teaches about how it's like you cling to the discomfort and you don't want to get out of that. And it's so uncomfortable being
Yeah.
comfortable because like
Yeah, and you can logically understand, like, I'm
Mhm.
safe, but your body and this is where I'm still sitting, where, like, I've done a lot of work on myself, but, like, why in the world can I still not drop my guard with my say, for example, truly drop it and embody being humble and true vulnerability with my husband, who is I couldn't ask for someone just like kinder, you know what I mean? That's just so patient and whatever. And it's been 10 years. But he thinks I'm being vulnerable, but I know I'm not. I know I'm not fully dropped. And Paul, I can feel that you are. And I was telling Ryan before this started, like, I can feel your open heart. Like, it's a resonance thing. It's like, I just feel safe. It's just, like, embodied. You're not pretending. I can just feel it. And that's the, antidote to narcissism. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's unwavering, unconditional love. Like, you can go ahead and punch me in the face or whatever. Not literally, but maybe. And, I might punch you back, but I'm gonna be like, "I still love you."
Yeah,
I
punch
don't
you
know.
with love. Like, you can
Yeah.
punch somebody with love. It's possible. And
But that's the challenge for a lot of people of like, well, I wanna love the narcissist, but, like, I don't wanna get attacked constantly. Like, how do you take punches, but, like, not get hurt? Paul, like, how is this
well, here's the
working
challenge.
for
Like
you?
here's what's crazy. There is no secret to the secret sauce in the soup or whatever, It's literally you're guarding yourself for no reason. And
Mhm.
it's just like
Oh, dude.
the
Yep.
challenge is like, it's like this dichotomy of like, you're protecting your heart. And if I open it up, it'll get hurt. But the thing is like, your soul was never hurt. Your soul is untouchable. It's your body and your memory. And when you start detaching from your past and embodying and being present in this moment with no expectations of the future at all, it's like this person is an autonomous human here, multi-dimensional being. They're allowed to do whatever they want. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And I don't have any expectations of what's going to happen after this interaction or in the next moment. Because our guarding comes from our subconscious, like accessing memories of like, you were hurt here, so don't show your true heart. You were hurt here, so don't show your
Yeah.
true heart.
Mhm.
Your imagination, this could happen. They might say this. They might use this against you. But when you
Oh,
detach
yeah.
from two things that will never happen again because that's the past and are not probably going to happen because your imagination doesn't happen. Otherwise, you'd wake up tomorrow and you have that unicorn or pony you wished for when you were little. And so it's like,
$1,000,000.
yeah, it's like when you
That's
detach
true.
from those and you're here present in the moment with no expectations of the other people, then you naturally blossom. Your heart's like, this other multi-dimensional being, I get to see them and heal the shit out of them. And so that's like basically, if you're saying your heart chakra is not open, it's like I challenge you to really think, just like visualize your heart and visualize your heart leading and visualizing that other soul who's so amazing that deserves to see your soul. And so, like, imagine the connection goes to the umpteenth level once that happens.
And I know it will
Yeah.
too. I was imagining it telling my heart like the little shield over it, like, it's okay to go now. I don't need you anymore.
I just got some tears in my eyes because I felt that at a deep
You
level.
served your purpose.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try it out. I'll let you know.
man. But I'm an empath, and I felt your emotion on that. That you had a little bit of sadness there of like you no longer have to guard, and it's like the guard at the
Yeah,
gates.
and
It's
it's
like
interesting.
letting go. There's a little sadness there.
Like, no. Yeah, because it's also an identity shift. I actually heard someone say, I can't remember where I heard it, and I've actually said this. It's like, I don't know who I'll be if I'm not this, because it's been my whole life. Like, where am I? Who am I outside of this persona, this character that I have been operating this whole time? And that's some scary shit for a lot of people because they're comfortable in just, even if it's in like an awful character, at least they know it. At least it's familiar and they can expect what's coming, or it seems like it.
And so here's like the real like brain tickler. You are nobody. The word nobody is made up, or anybody or a person. That sound is made up by humans to identify how we act. Sounds cannot
Ooh.
describe y'all's souls or my soul. It can sound, and these concepts cannot embody who you truly are and what you can become. And letting go of that is like unbridling the horse, a stallion, and just like, oh shiznit. It's like the phoenix rebirth. That's what a rebirth
Ooh,
is.
I
Letting
love
go
that,
of these
man.
constructs
Yeah.
that inhibit us. And we're so used to it, but it's so constricting to our soul because the human condition wants to expand. You want to learn, you want to know more versus just like staying in this tiny little, like freaking
Yeah.
a word restrict a
Can-
sound. That's the biggest, like, cruelest thing to the human condition is that sounds can control us. What the fuck?
And that's what does it to me. Like, I'm surrounded still to this day by narcissists. And like, kind of got into it tonight. Like, I've been working on my custody battle and just looking, and I found very creative ways with technology to cut into it because they're all gathering it up. They got a hard on for me right now. And like, while I'm doing all this, while I'm just
Means you're about to
crunching
blow up.
information and data, yesterday, or did I do it Sunday or whatever, Monday morning, I filed for my first copyright. And you know what it was? A formula for the natural course of a narcissist inside of a relationship, how they treat things, because there is a pattern. And I noticed it like inherently going through it. Like, I could feel it, like, oh, that's that. But when I started putting it all together, like, oh, this led to this, then she circled back up this, because I did this, like, oh shit, like, let's bring it all in. So I brought everything in, like, and okay. And yeah, it led to, their playbook. And that's not to say it's
Yeah.
it's not going to be perfect. Nothing should ever be perfect. Like, it was, what is perfect? It's a projection on things. It's, subjective. And if something's subjective, can it really, it's just whatever. I haven't worked on that part, but you know, there's nuances and edge cases, obviously. But I was telling Paul, before we got on here, I listened to a 30 or, however long episode podcast about, or it's called Something Was Wrong. And even the words these people use, like in every situation, like they'd go through the entire process of these relationships that people had with narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths. Those are all the main band of Merry Misfits, but they all do the same stuff. And it's just in different arenas, it's different applications, but it's a playbook. And, like as soon as I did it, like I woke up that morning, I was like, "Ooh, this Monday's really Mondaying," and like I didn't know why because I've been feeling good, and I was just kind of low all day, and then I get a parenting message that said, "Oh, I just took Reagan to the emergency room," and I thought she was coming home to me today, or yesterday, because they had Good Friday out. I didn't expect them to give the school Monday too, but they did. And that sucked. And it sucked to find out because she was going to the the urgent care. And I thought the reason was kind of dumb. Like, didn't make sense. I was getting lied to there. And then I told my mom, and she hates my ex. So I was like, okay, she's going to be on my side here. Like, she's going to say, yeah, I see what you're seeing, because everything Paul is saying, that's being conducted onto my, on my daughter right now. They are energy vampiring the crap out of her. And like,
Yeah.
when that happens, your immune system is destroyed. And if it's destroyed for that long, adverse things start to happen. All those mimic cells and bull crap, like if they get into the wrong place, like that's blood cancer, bud. Like, and why it sucks because I see it, I can feel it, I even know the mechanisms, and I can show people, but I tried to tell her, and I said, look, that's cellular depletion, and, I'll go to this specialist and look, but if these doctors don't move us in the right direction, because it was she put a Q-tip in too hard and it ripped the skin in her ear. And I was like, what? No. And she said, well, the doctor said it was earwax too, really hard earwax. Wax doesn't work that way. Wax is wax. It doesn't cut. Like, sorry, I'm getting worked up again. But
Man,
yeah, and
The
it's
can I
interesting is
validate you?
like I took. Oh, thanks, Paul.
I was gonna say, like, I've been there. Like, I know what you're going through. We've talked a little bit about that. Like, it this when kids are involved, you're a good dad. Like, it's natural to get angry. Like freaking man, I get it. It sucks.
Well, I didn't get angry at I didn't get angry outwardly at her, I just didn't engage, which is what you're supposed to do. I gray rocked her, but I said what I needed to say. Like, look, I am in charge here. I went to court to get that, I will take her, but it's not earwax, but, that's doing that to her ear. She's had blood in her stool. She's had, pyrogenic granuloma on her stomach. It's her blood. And, you know, if that stuff sticks around too long, that's when things start getting really bad. And that's why people have chronic illnesses. And, then they're fed into this hospital, this medical system that won't even allow a little room, even for cellular health, like not
Yeah.
even getting into the spiritual and stuff. Like, good luck if
Yeah.
somebody tries to go in there doing that. Like, but that's how off it is. They don't take two completely.
Yeah, all the systems are set up like that. They're all narcissistic systems, like including mental health, which I was talking to Ryan before this. I'm like, I'm having like a midlife crisis with I was like, I don't think I'm going to be a therapist anymore, at least in the capacity I'm doing it. It's not sitting right anymore because the system itself is just so jacked and I cannot align. But I'm like, I learned this for a reason and I'm moving on. Like what we're talking about, like got my master's, time to close up shop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not attached to anything too much. I've always been able to just cut. But like moving to what you're saying, Ryan, I just took a Reiki class randomly on Saturday. And what we learned, and this dude is so unconventional, I loved it so much. He was like, just cut the shit. And he was like, this is quantum physics, guys. Like, we don't need to be all freaking woo woo about Reiki. It's not even Reiki, it's like quantum energy movement
follows
or a
awareness.
manipulation. Exactly. So he's like, it's not that complicated. It's so incredibly simple that they made it so complicated to justify
that's how they
taking
do
more
it.
of your money. And
Bunch
they
of
like
assholes.
they hijack the system. So, but basically one thing he did say was the more that we talk about ailments and illnesses and all that stuff, the more we like talk about it, especially attached to a specific person, it's going to amplify that attention on that thing and make it worse because then everyone's like, oh, like approving or like, and so I'm like, oh crap, I'm telling everyone in the world about my daughter's condition or whatever. But he stopped me in the class when I was talking about my daughter because he's like, don't talk about her illnesses. And I'm like, it can't be that sensitive. Like, but I guess when he explained it in this way about how energy moves and how it follows your attention, and your focus in with your intention of like, I'm calling it this is what this means to me, and this is the emotion I'm attaching to it, then it can like, but what are your thoughts, Ryan?
And I'm gonna contradict him there. Like, it's not just one. Like, he's right there, but you have to have it coming from both directions. Like, you have to understand it and not talk about it, but you don't have control what other people do. So you have to have the counter to it too. Like, so epigenetically, you identify the marker, and epigenetics ties to feelings, like directly. So, if you can figure out what feeling is being projected on you, like you can push back against it, like, or what feeling is causing that, you can do the opposite.
Like in hypnosis, actually, we call it like rejecting the suggestion. Like, nope, not accepting that. Like that, I can see where you're going with that. I'm not accepting that suggestion into my being or whatever.
And
so like you're saying,
if
she's
don't
not
talk
aware,
about it, people won't know. Like,
exactly. So where's the middle ground? So this is perfect. Is like, so you're saying if she's not aware of the projection and the emotional association to it or whatever, what we're projecting onto her about what this means, then it won't impact her in that way. Is that what you're saying?
Like, you just have to understand, be sensitive to both. Like, and you don't ignore it. It's part of life, and she just needs it. Part of it is she needs to understand that she has a predisposition to it. Like, and there's like, he's probably approaching it from, like, I don't know how he's approaching it, but I do things a lot more mechanically, so I might be different. And, problem solution and, contingency. I take everything into account. And to say something, to act like something doesn't exist, it might be somebody else's intention putting that onto her. Like, so she has to know.
Because then you get gaslit too.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't have eczema. Nope, you're not hurting right now. Because then you're freaking like, wait, what? This
Then
so
she's gaslighting herself, and that's
and then you're just. So what's your? I'm curious about what you think, Paul, about this.
Man,
I value your opinion a lot.
So I think it's a way to view it is like your true intentions and thoughts are still going to be transferred, even if your words don't match up with that. So like, how do I put this? So it's like in that situation, like you could be talking to your daughter and not lie to her and be like, you don't have it, But instead of giving her, like, it can start becoming part of her identity. Because when I had MS, or and I might still be dealing with it, I'm not sure. I have a pretty cool story about that and how I overcame a lot of that. Um, but I stopped saying I had MS, and I stopped believing it completely because I didn't want to have that encoded in my identity, where everywhere I went, whoever I talked to, like, oh, I have MS. I have MS. It's like, and even on my own thinking, oh, I have MS. So I totally took that out of my vocabulary and my thought process where it wasn't even in my reality. Even though I still fed myself a diet and nutrition that was to combat that. So in that reality, instead, like, this is just my perception, instead of like telling her like, you don't have it or you do have it, encourage that things can heal. The body can heal itself and change. And that this could just be a passing season. And that instead of identifying it all the time, because a 2-year-old, like, she could start just when she tells people, I have eczema, I have eczema, I have eczema. She starts identifying with that. And it starts like grounding in her reality. And so it's like what we give our
Yep. And then
attention
she
to,
can manifest.
yes, it keeps it there. It
Yeah.
makes it more real.
Yeah.
And so when
Right.
I have something wrong with me, I immediately go to this mindset of, I just got released from the hospital. This is day 1 and I'm getting better. And I'm going to go full bore on this. And so, because a lot of people, like, when they're sick or something, like, oh, I'm sick, I got this. Well, no, let's pursue full energy output, even if that's 60% of what our 100% could be. Pursue thinking, oh, I'm healthy, I'm getting better, and encouraging that mindset, because the body will start reacting.
Yeah.
The body will bring that into fruition. I truly believe that. And it takes full faith. And the great thing about the child or children, they have full faith, like, quick. And so if she's encouraged into
Yeah.
believing that you can, like, this can get better and make it go away, even if it's a placebo, it makes it feel better. And it makes it start to present less. And if the mindset is, oh, this is getting better. Oh, this is getting better, I can make it go better. And you're in the mindset also of, there is a way out of this. There is a way to heal. So even when you're like discussing it with her, it's like still you have that encoding and that energetic signal being sent of, man, she's going to get better. I know it. She's getting better. And so it's I don't know if I'm explaining my mindset right, or my thought process, because I see it all formulating. That it's like, never expressed this
Well, for
through
sure.
words before, so now I got to try to do that. Good luck. Hope it works.
I have a way of making people do that. Ryan, I'm always putting him on the spot. Oh, Ryan, I was thinking about like what you told me about how people need options at different levels of consciousness and awareness. So like what you're doing and what you're developing is that in those interventions at that level,
Mm-hmm.
like when you reach, say, I don't know, tier whatever million, like
Yeah,
where you
it's
can like, whatever I believe I become, like fully, I'm like, I have perfect vision. Tomorrow I wake up and
mm-hmm.
my eyesight's clear. And, like, I can walk, like, even though I'm in a wheelchair or whatever, the next day I can walk. Like, this stuff is actually happening to people because their belief is like, they're fully convinced 100% that and they're not gaslighting themselves. They believe it. They're not just faking it. So there's like different tiers and levels to which you can address. Yeah. What's
I
up?
Well, what you just said is like, I've lived it. I had a disease called transverse myelitis. I had spinal cord damage from the lesions from C1 to C5, and I was bedridden for almost 3 months. And like every day in rehab, I had to learn to walk again. And they're like, "What do you want to do, Mr. Miller?" I'm like, "Walk." It's like, that's all I would say is like, walk. Because in my mind, like, I was gonna freaking walk again. The first day home after rehab, and this was like 6 months of like in and out of hospitals and then the rehab facility for TM, I was just like absolutely just convinced I was going to walk again. and it was difficult and painful. First day home, I did like 1/3 of a mile on my walker, and I did 5 push-ups. But then I started doing meditations. I would smoke
Hey.
marijuana, I would do meditations, and I would imagine what this spinal cord looked like. And I was eating a leafy green diet and only vegetables and salads 3 times a day. Not like iceberg lettuce, but leafy greens, kale, and all that good stuff. And I'm
Mhm.
getting excited here, so I'm getting amped up. And so, like, I would be in meditation for like an hour or 2, and I would be focusing on that spinal cord, and I would be imagining all the little nutrients coming in and rebuilding it at a micro level, the micronutrients. And I called it thinking small, like this process. And nobody ever taught this to me. I just did it intuitively. And I did this so many times. The next time I got an MRI, there were signals being sent. And there was repair, like where the signals were being sent, they were being sent again. And like the crazy thing, like my family sucked, but like nobody said a damn word to me. Like, wow, you did a good job
Yeah.
right there. It was just like crickets. Like,
Mm.
Of
Yeah,
course
like,
not.
but
Yep.
that's part of it. That's for other people, not for you.
yeah.
Like, what the?
So like,
Yep. I mean, you learn to become your like biggest cheerleader and like
Mm-hmm.
and throughout all this validating yourself and like all this process.
I was just
What?
imagining myself in a skirt. I was like, nope, not wearing a cheerleading skirt. I was like, no.
Hey, the guys, they don't wear skirts. They wear the little pants and
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah,
You get to throw up some hot chicks.
I was a cheerleader in high
oh
school.
man. Stout,
Really?
strong.
Yeah, competitive.
Nice.
Are
You know
you
what?
serious,
I can freaking
dude?
see that, man. I
Yeah,
can
I
totally
did competitive
see that
cheerleading for like
now.
half a year, like because one of my good buddies on the football
That's
team,
cool.
his brother was a cheerleading coach, and they needed guys, and he asked my buddy Jordan and I, like, "Hey, do y'all want to do this? Fill in?" Yeah, like, let's go check it out. We're athletic, and yeah, what next thing you know, it was cool. It was, I mean, it was fun. It's intense, like the competitive side, like,
Dude, they're freaking no joke. Yeah, they're no
and
joke.
like they get hurt. Like that was worse than seeing, you know, girl drop from a stunt, bop, you know, and I don't have the heart for that. Like, I can see one of my buddies break a damn leg on a football field, but to see that, I was like, uh-oh.
Dang, man.
It didn't feel good. But they're hard, they're troopers too. Got right back up, caught
Dude,
her
this is
wind,
the
and
most like
went back to it.
dynamic, diverse like discussion I've ever experienced, I think.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
and
and that's
I
what
love it.
discussion should be.
yeah,
It's
it's like an ADD mosh pit.
and it's so easy. It's so easy.
I love it. But I really hold on, Paul. Paul, we gotta finish your identity character story
Sorry.
though.
Oh,
Like we're still on The Witcher.
man, I'll talk about anything. So I was,
But I'm there in the story with you. I can see it.
so I was learning about witchcraft, and I was just having these massive amounts of information come in, and my third eye had woken up, and like started going into meditations, doing these mudras and these hand things, where it's like, I'm coming in, it's like going down and up, and then
Yeah, show me
forward and
one.
back, and then bringing it in, and then focusing it in, like creating this sphere. And this was like after learning about the witchcraft, and it's like, now you're going to learn about energy and how you can put that in people, and you can heal people's energy bodies. And so this was like the healer phase, where I started learning about healing people. So then I was like,
Oh, all right. I need some lessons from you, Paul.
well, I shut all this down quick because people were freaking out when I was telling people I could heal people. They were like, I rebuke you in the name
Oh.
of Jesus. I rebuke you in the, like, I got screamed at.
Danger, danger.
I got screamed at.
Oh,
And
shit.
so, and I reached out to like my mentor at that point in time, and he was like, he's like, where's this coming from? Maybe you ought to just not pursue this and just see where it's coming from. So I listened to it, and I was like, I shut it down. I was like, I'm not going to do any more healing. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to see where it's coming from. And I realized, like, this is me using my energy to heal people, like, and be able to form it.
Wow.
Because, like, if you rub your hands together for like 30, 45 seconds and then stop, you'll feel a tingling in your hands. And that's energy.
Mhm.
But when you do certain
Yep.
mudras, you can start catching the energy together and it starts rubbing back and forth and start building. And then, the ringing in
Dude.
your ear, like, that's like the
Mhm.
sound of the universe.
Tinnitus.
Well, I'm not going to tell the VA, but I've had that since I was a child. It's it's the
Oh,
perfect
we'll scrub
tone
that.
that has never left me. And what I would do is I would sync up, I would go into meditation and sense my energy body and sync up my energy body to the vibration of the universe, that tone. And so then my tone was like fucking
Shit.
synced up of like the perfect tone. And then I would go into that and I would put that into somebody. So this one dude, I think he's still alive.
Wow, that's so cool.
Um, oh, you don't even know the half of the cool stories. So freaking this dude,
Ah, I need
I
them
meet this
all.
guy and he was an old vet. So automatically I was like, I cared about him because like I was like, my heart connects immediately to a vet. And I was like, awesome family. And but the cold reality is just because somebody's a vet doesn't mean they have my best intentions. And I had to learn boundaries.
Mm.
So this was during my okay, believe it or not, but in a past life, I was being raised to go into and become a Knights Templar. And so I learned a lot of secrets and I was trained in a lot of things. But at some point in time, I left it because I woke up because they follow certain bloodlines that will eventually wake up that are connected. And then they bring them in and they're like, we're going to raise you and use you, tell you a lie about
Yeah.
your true identity. And we're going to use your spiritual gifts for our evil purposes, but make you think it's good. And I
Right.
left like,
Because don't you have to be kind of good to like get access to that level of
well,
gifts or whatever? Is that like a thing?
some people, their soul is just already got it. And then when you wake up to it, you got this stuff. And so it's like I was being raised to a certain point in time, and then I left it and went to the east, and I went exploring other warriors and other paths, and I uh, just went exploring, and I totally ran away from that life. And so I was in that life for that point in time, and so I met this warlock, straight up mother effing warlock. He was the vet dude, and I was like, I can heal you, dude. You want to do it? And he's like, I believe you. And I was like, sweet, I want to do this. So I go to his place, which is like out in the woods, and I start walking in, and I'm in the mode of like,
As warlocks do.
dude. So I go in there, but there's these cow skulls, like a couple hundred cow skulls everywhere. They're chained at the base of a tree. There's cow skulls chained in
Oh
trees.
shit.
There's like,
Back to the tree.
dude, yeah, and it's hundreds of them, and these paths with skulls everywhere, and I'm just like in full kill mode. I switched, and I was like, kill mode, like, fuck, like,
Oh my
what the fuck?
god, dude. This is like a
So I
freaking
was like, I'm gonna
movie.
follow this dude, and I'm gonna heal him, but what the fuck? It's like I've
Awful
never
kind of you.
seen
Like
anything
with
like
all
this.
that going on.
So it was a full moon last night, and I was like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I just step into my full power because at this point in time, the veil was gone. And like, I go into this mudra and I start saying things I've never said before. I was like, the human body, da, 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 the human body. And I start going off on this like ancient script of knowledge about the human body. And he looks at me, he's like, are you a spaceman? And I was like, no. So a couple of days before this, I was at this place. I had a business, and this guy just randomly walks up to me who I'd kind of been making a friendship with, and he's like, watch out for the ants. And then he walked away, and I was like, what the crap? I was like, okay.
Hands?
So fast forward back this night, I'm at the Warlock's place, and I hit him with my most powerful one I could. I was like, all right, let's go again. And so I make the sphere and I put it inside of him, and I just force all my energy. I just give it everything. And it takes all of my source energy and power energy, and I'm like healing all of his fucking traumas. And I'm feeling it, and I'm pushing it, and I'm like going beet red. And he tells me this. He's like, I thought you were about to pass out. And I'm pushing it in his body, and I'm bringing up to the size of his body. So I'm healing everything. I pulled out all of his traumas, and I dropped to my knees, and I screamed with everything I had. And I kept screaming because as I screamed, like I saw every single thing that he went through in his life of like almost 80 years. And it was some fucking horrible shit. And I fucking saw every bit of it. And then I just flopped down on the grass and passed out for a second and landed in a motherfucking ant bed. And I woke up and I was like, fuck, I had ants on me, and I moved out of the way, and I was like trying to climb back up to my knees. And I was like, oh, watch out for the ants. And like it was spiritual
Dude.
thing after spiritual thing. The next day I talked to him, a couple of days later, and I was like, how you doing? He's like, my neck's not hurting anymore. I've been drinking since I was 12 years old. I haven't wanted a drop of alcohol in the last 3 days. And I don't even want to drink. There hasn't been a day that has gone by that I haven't drank. And he's like, I don't even care to drink. And I was just like, fuck yeah. Right on. And I was just straight up supernatural. Oh gosh.
Dude, at my Reiki class on
Yeah.
Saturday, so this is the first time I've ever done like energy work, like intentionally, you know. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in my like some of my sessions are like past life regressions and stuff. I naturally would like hold my hands up or something, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe it'll help. But in this class, there's 7 of us, so one's on the table and then 6 are around, you know. So it's like powerful, whatever. And the first girl lays down and I'm holding my hands under her head. And I'm like, and I remember what you said, Paul, about like how like the back of your neck, the base of your skull, you know, it's kind of like your center of like memories or whatever. Um, so I'm holding her head and I just start fucking bawling. And I'm like seeing her childhood. At least I thought it was her childhood. She's like kicking a ball, and like at the beginning of the class, she talked about herself a little bit. So I'm like, am I just seeing this because of the stuff that she said
Mm-hmm.
about her? And then then we move to the next person, and I'm like hovering over, and I like go over this dude's heart, and I'm like bawling again. I'm like, oh my God, I see a father wound. Like I see like the dad hugging him, but I'm seeing this like healing scenes of like these sad scenes from childhood or something. And then like the next is like the healing aspect of it. And then like it keeps person to person to person. And then one person I saw like a symbol activate in their sternum. And I didn't see their childhood. It was just like this symbol, and I just intuitively was like, I think they're getting activated right now. But like I saw butterflies coming out of like their stomachs, and just like it's just is so freaking beautiful. And then I was hovering over someone's heart, and I was like heartbroken at how they viewed themselves. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm like bawling, and I'm like, because it's like I could feel the soul's like blueprint of like how painful it is to see. I don't know, like how distorted how we view ourselves.
That's where it
It's
all stems
incredibly
from. You
heartbreaking.
said it. Like, so much of the bad in this world is from that alone, just compounded, compounded, compounded over years and years and years. And, it's breaking that cycle somehow, some way. And, because it does suck. Like, when you see it, when you know it, because that's a big part of my problem. Like, I can look, it's gotten to the point where I hear a couple words, if it's intentional talk and I pick up on something like, oh shit. And then I see everything they do through that lens, and like, I feel pretty hard. Like my feelings burn right through my skin, and like I'm tired of burning, and I don't do it to myself. Like, I was fine, and you know, that's back to what Paul was saying. It's like I identified with lupus and RA, and but I still get those things, and I've been doing everything so differently. But that's the thing. I'm not giving it to myself anymore. Like, it goes into spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare, people. Like, I'm trying to do all the right things. I'm talking about it. I'm not internalizing anymore. Like the bands, what internalizing, externalizing, somatic, and but that's what it is. The externalizing band of people are the narcissists, are the sociopaths, are the psychopaths. And it says it in the word. They're externalizing that energy warfare onto you. Like, they're doing something to you. And
Yeah.
like mine, it's knots in my back. And Melissa has seen me, do my knot work. And that's my version of handwork. Because yesterday,
You're putting an
yesterday,
intention there to like
yeah,
adjust.
they
Yeah.
attacked 3 times, attacked me 3 different ways, and all at once.
Yeah.
And all of it
Yeah.
just settled in. It was so bad, but I've flared, not in a bad way, but like to break them
Yeah.
off me.
Get off.
And
Yeah.
and those knots, like, those are energy stores. Like, it makes sense. Like, and
Yeah, I'd like to see
if
you
you
in the astral space and
break
like
them,
see what that is. Or you look like Bowser or something, maybe.
it will. Yeah, and if you break them, that energy comes back into your body. It loosens up and disperses. Like, instead of knotting in one bad spot and attacking and giving you these chronic illnesses like freaking rheumatoid arthritis, you break it up like the second it hits you. And because mine hit me hard and fast, like, it's instant. And sometimes when I like move my back around, you can hear it, like, it's not a crack, but it's like pop rocks. It almost sounds like. It's gross, but I kind of get off on it now. Like, it's a good because it feels so damn
Isn't that
good.
your fascia? It's like
Mm-hmm.
when we were doing fascia release with the little tools or whatever. I'm working on my wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, go over the crunchy parts.
Yeah.
It sounds like pop rocks or whatever because the fascia gets stuck because it doesn't ever. We don't ever like work on ourselves or whatever. Where you sit and type and don't move our bodies, and it's all built up there. These, like what you're saying, and I wonder if that's what it's like feeding off of or something, like our little energy stores of like all these bad emotions or whatever. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Man.
So that's why I do it. Like, if anybody ever sees me, it's like I'm getting, I got hit recently, or am in one, and it's helped so much. And like, my mind's fine, like, but they're externalizing things. They're putting that on me. Like, that's witchcraft. That's the bullshit.
So
Like,
the way you absorb it is physical body,
and
you feel it. And mine is definitely more feeding into the inner narrative stuff. Yeah.
So is it?
But that's why I said, like, I've done all the work on my brain. You're not fucking with that anymore. Like, they're attacking my body. And when I'm ready, should be in a little while, I'll get back there and work out, and they won't have a stand a chance. Like, they're done.
What you got, Paul?
So much. So it's like, it sounds like you're energetically being attacked, and it no longer affects you the way it was planned to, and so it's presenting in those knots and those bundles. But check this out. Either that can be put on you. Are your muscles actually like starting to knot up also with it? Do you feel that, or do you it's just like an energy bundle on you?
It's like like the knots. It's one and the same. Like,
Check this out. Like,
and
so like mechanically, like you said,
Go
you
ahead.
like things mechanically. There's a signal from your brain being sent to activate that muscle, and muscles generate energy. When you sit there and ready to jump, you're bundling up your energy, and then you move and you're releasing all that energy. So like there's a signal
Yeah.
from up here and it's going down there to trigger that, and it's bundling up that energy, which is coming up from like your energy
Mhm.
center and bundling there. Um, and this is going off into other territories of maybe a little bit theory, but it's like accessing something in you that's fighting, like an old version of you or an old wound potentially. And this is just, I could be way off here. And so it's like you're fighting it. There's something in there that's fighting it. It's like there's a fight going on that's building it up to fight. I don't know. I should just end there with that because I could go like when I go into like theory, it's just like I'm pulling random stuff together. But like,
Well, I mean, that's what this is about. And like my theory with it is we know these people do, we say there's witchcraft and all this, like this is because it's not me.
Mhm.
Like I've worked on my
yeah,
mind and that's and yes, you're right that it attacks something, but that shit's not coming from me. Like that's because all of them, I have my defenses and stuff like that. And yet a lot of it's through my daughter, which I don't have really any control that's in control of the system. But I don't hate these people. I don't, I'm frustrated, but you know all the feelings aren't there yet, it's still landing. So that's what and if we
It
talk
kind of
about
makes
this
me think.
energy,
Yeah. Go ahead.
like it
so different. Oh,
Raise hand,
raising
people.
hand.
No. I'm just
So
kidding.
like there was like more to that concept there, but then as you're like explaining, I'm like, I'll tell y'all something that I do, and like I'm like a conservative hippie, and I keep my spiritual stuff pretty like conservative, and I don't put it out there. So with
Yeah.
energy,
mhm,
since I'm an empath and I can take on people's energy, and that makes me more susceptible to energy attacks, I carry certain things on me to guard my energy body and prevent bundles of energy landing on me that are sent verbally and through craft work. And I'll explain it here. I'm about to get into a little bit of my Witcher stuff. So I carry this
Nice.
jar on me always, and
Paul
it
the Witcher.
has crushed red pepper, it has cinnamon, Celtic salt, and crushed or rubbed sage. All of those are elements that have a presence
mhm,
in the unifying field or the material or the spiritual realm. They have a energetic um, signal, but everything has like a frequency, and these have an energetic frequency. And certain, and I carry a small jar of the layered, and then I carry a jar of cinnamon, and I have several different jars in my car, and it's glass because metal will dampen the energetic signature and the spiritual. And the reason I have this layered with different elements is because they basically enmesh on top of each other and they create a very strong shield in the energetic realm. And then
Oh
over my
shit.
root chakra, so these are basically energetic shields from different types of energy attacks. Uh,
Don't take them
Oh, I'm
off.
going to put them back on. And then for about 3 years now, over my root chakra, I I wear 2 neodymium magnets because these register and energetically block stuff, like literally cannot make it through. So this prevents um energy tethers from attaching to my root chakra. And it's out there, but I don't tell people about it, but it makes my life so much more simpler because I don't walk in crowds and take on their emotions anymore. I kinda walk through like a spy now. It's like, I got a cloak. You can't catch me energetically because my shit's protected. I
Nice.
carry and for the past 3 years, 4 I guess almost 4 years now, I wear a crystal 24/7, and that's a crystal has an energetic signature and protects and it can protect your energy also. So I take my energy protection
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
seriously.
Mhm.
I sleep with this stuff because the spiritual attacks, what you're talking about, Ryan, like they're energetic attacks and it hurts and it's painful.
and I well, and I think that's my point. Is that's kind of the way I've been looking at it, and you just made me realize it. they use our energy against us. That's what I'm doing to them because I'm not afraid of it. Give it to me because I'm going to turn it around, alchemize that crap, and throw it right back at you. So I don't want to guard, from it. I need it. Like, in
Oh, Ryan, you
it's not
gotta
my
watch
brain
that guy I
anymore.
just sent you.
Yeah, I'm going to. I promise.
Because
I
that's what he
promise.
does. He's like
Yeah.
he said he operates as like a tornado or whatever. He's like a Hoover vacuum where he walks and sucks in those spirits and eat kind of digests the energy
Yeah.
and transmutes it. And I wonder if that's like kind of one of your gifts.
It is.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
You're
so
a
cool.
divinely guided warrior.
I'm not afraid of it. Like, it just, yeah, it's like sometimes I'll be like I'll put headphones in like when it gets really bad and I forget about it a little bit for a couple days because it's easy to. Like, life is gonna life, and so I'll be like and then I'll have to like break it loose. I'll put my headphones in and start, just jamming out to a certain playlist and, high energy stuff, like random stuff, but, and just crack my back. Like, and I do it and my diaphragm and I'll hit hard. So it's pushing against each other and it feels like I'm and I can hear it, so you tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. You can come over and listen. Like, that's, and, that wasn't there a couple days before. It's there now. Like, but
Interesting.
and when I do it, I feel so much better. Like, the next couple of days afterwards, I'm and my face clears up, but I have to take the damage to get that, to,
Yeah.
use
You're
it,
building up
send
your
it back.
tolerance too.
Yeah.
As you watch that guy, I sent him
I
this
will.
dude who does Reiki. But like I'm
Oh,
so
not
excited
that one.
about him because I'm like, oh my gosh. He said over time when he could tap in etherically in the astral or whatever, when he's imagining his energy body or whatever, he can grow it now to where it no longer hurts like it used to. So he used to, when he was doing Reiki on people, he could feel pinches, he could feel like scratches and stuff like that from like the little parasites he's taking off people and stuff. And now he doesn't feel it anymore. It's like nothing. So I'm wondering, as you build your strength and stuff and
I like
navigate,
the pain, but you need the pain.
yeah, you would.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's what it is. Like, it's, you're here, like, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it because it's something to fight through. And
I wonder if that's like the masculine drive, you know what I mean? Like if it's misplaced in this 3D, but it's really, especially veterans. Like I always said, like veterans, I think are training. They were training in the military, the 3D military, for what's to activate them here or whatever in the astral.
yeah,
And I wonder if it's actually going to come to the 3D too, to where we're going to be able to see it, or if our third eye just turns on to where it becomes like no difference between like,
well, it's probably,
because like Paul,
coming in our lifetime. So
you
we'll
said
know.
your third eye is like pretty active. Like, does it kind of ebb and flow with your ability to see, say, shadow figures or like stuff that or energy around people, auras, stuff like that?
Well, I have this interesting thing where I call it blurring it out. Like I can disassociate on command. But also I have
Lucky.
this thing where I can blur things and basically I see their spirit. And if it matches their face kind of, like I can see how they're operating like energetically. It's like a shift. Like I can see, like I've seen what you would call a demon in a person present before. And I'm just like, well, what the fuck? 100%. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Wow.
But it
Yeah.
was like an overlay.
Interesting.
So basically you get used to seeing it, but then it's like background noise. Now it's like when somebody talks, like I'm sensing their energy. before I'm even near them, I can completely sense their energy, and I know what they're hiding. Not specifically, but I know if they're hiding. I know what their
Right.
affiliation
Yeah.
is because
You have to do a little work to.
And if they're insecure about something, you can sense the shift and like they're and that's kind of like I was talking to my husband. I was like, I can't believe actually I can believe that I'm gonna dump being a therapist, at least at the capacity I'm at right now. And he was like, honestly, like we already determined that you became a therapist to heal yourself. Number one, like that was part of your path, but also your ability to discern because now you can read and you can spot which end of the spectrum people are on, is like the the flip of like the empathy inward or outward, and it's overly outward
Mhm.
is the problem. Like you said, Paul, you had to learn the boundaries and stuff. Like, oh, I can't just be pouring love out to
yeah,
everyone, like in the way that I was, because this is a slippery slope there, and that's the task of the people who are feeding the narcissist unknowingly, because they have so much love to give, and they're attaching to that soul signature of like they are a good person inside. I see it, but they're like confused or whatever. Like I don't know why I feel like they're good, but they're not treating me good or whatever. So that level of discernment, I know what you're talking about. It's like I can feel the shifts, and that was the root of my anxiety growing up. Like I can feel everybody's
Mhm.
yeah.
shifts and like masks, and I feel it in myself, which is so
It's
incredibly annoying.
That's
I'm like
ADHD.
ah, shut up. Like, the
yeah.
programming, I can feel it. I can see when it switches characters, and it's incredibly distracting at times, and that's where my
Mhm.
social anxiety came into play, where I would freeze up when I'm speaking, and I would lose my train of thought because I'm like tracking that something else is taking over me. It's like it's so nice though to be able to put words to it and to put like a framework around my experience, and not from a lens of shame or like something was wrong with me. It's just actually more of like an incredible ability that I'm like honing in on and learning again. Yeah. I think we're all kind of like
Yeah, we're figuring
obviously
it out.
operating at similar bandwidths in a sense to be able to be in each other's presence like this
It's
long.
so for some reason I thought about this like as a kid, like it would like I was an empath and it was painful to be in public. Painful, like energetically, but I had no choice. And so it's like I'm always looking for the predators as a kid. It's like I can spot a predator now like that because I was like had so
Mhm.
much experience with them. So now in public, it's like I have all of these lenses where I can see the predators. I can sense your energy. Like I can feel your emotions. So it's like being bombarded with all of this stuff that nobody else sees. And so, like, I forgot what part you just said, but like when I was initially going through my awakening, what helped me the most was on TikTok and seeing these spiritual people that have been through this stuff talking about it. They're like, oh, my awakening, I did this, this, and this, and I was going through this. And I was like, what? Wait, other people are doing this? And I was like, yes. And like that stuff started getting put
Yeah.
on my feed, and I started learning tips and techniques
Mhm.
on how to navigate what I was going through. And I was like, whoa. And TikTok has changed so much in the past 3 years, and it got bought by an American company because
Yeah.
it was helping free
Mhm.
the American people.
Surprise,
It
surprise.
was on purpose
Oh yeah.
to free them. But check
Yeah.
this out.
Oh,
But
spies. But it's
no,
spies.
it's like imagine being an awakened person in another country, seeing the people how they're programmed here, and you're like, that's a horror show. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's where it gets
Yeah.
shit gets
Absolutely.
dangerous.
And how do you even start to wake them
You
up,
create
right?
a program that gives them the
Yeah, you just
truth.
drop something in.
Yeah.
Pew.
So they start teaching us through these short form
Mhm.
videos for ADD is like, here's awakening, here's what you really are. But
Yeah.
Wow, I
here's
never
the
thought about that. That's
danger when
freaking awesome.
America bought it. Look up depatterning and MK Ultra program in the early
Yeah.
1900s, like 1940s to
Yeah.
60s. They would take people to these facilities that were mentally unstable, and they would do this shit where they would They would
Whorehouses and stuff.
blindfold them and put speakers on them and play the same thing for like 3 weeks straight. And they would just de-pattern these people. When they
Mhm.
would bring them out, they were like babies, infants. They couldn't speak. They didn't know who they were broken or just totally de-patterned. So I've done a lot of deep dives on MK Ultra, splitting consciousnesses, having like altars inside a person and triggering them and then bringing them out. But the thing about now with TikTok, it is de-patterning people, but it is used for evil now by the American government if somebody's not aware, because it can put these advertisements up, or subliminal messages of like saying something every 7 videos for 7 times to somebody that's susceptible. And the algorithm is in
Yep.
American hand now.
If
It's
you're
that
not
spell work.
aware enough
Yeah.
to be like, I don't accept that suggestion
Yeah.
mentally, which we can see now. We're like, "Ha, nice try, fucker." You know,
Mhm.
like, ain't getting me. We're too aware and awake that we're
Yes.
resistant. Unless we like go down a spiral and like depression or something like that.
Mhm.
But we have shown up in each other's lives right now for a reason. Because like I don't know how many times, Paul, you've already kind of like pulled me back up a little bit because like the shit's getting real a little
Yeah.
bit now. Where I'm like, okay,
We've been dropped in.
I'm so fucking glad I have a tribe at this point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like it's
and I
getting
have
more
an issue where,
intense.
like, I know, and like, I don't wanna pull anybody in that doesn't wanna be like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I'm preparing for war, and not in, like, because I know it inherently, and I can feel it, like, so that's why that's what I was saying, that's why I don't get pulled back. It's like, "Nope,
You're locked
I'm
in, man.
training." Yeah, and I can
Yeah.
kind of forget that sometimes and, like, forget to look back and say, "Hey, you with me still?" Because it's eyes forward, and it's something I need to work on, like, for sure, because, that's the whole point of this, that's getting too attached to a thing too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able, like, strong spiritual people have to take everything into account. You have to, like, you can be everything, be it. Like, no excuses. And that's kind of the way I look at it sometimes. And
Yep.
to myself and yada yada yada.
Yep. And we're gonna like kind of watch over each other. I feel like because like I mean, I I am so incredibly aware. It's like torture sometimes to see the programming inside of me that's like falling away now and it's becoming unbearable. Paul has helped me through these moments
Mm-hmm.
um to reframe, and that is the weapon, man. The reframe is so
Yeah.
solid, and Ryan talked about this in like I don't know episode 1 or 2 of like you flip this whole thing. And so like as I'm getting attacked from different angles, it's just these different experiences. I'm like, okay, how is this happening for me? It's showing me my Achilles heel and I got to make changes. And I cannot be a victim to these circumstances. It's like where are my weak spots or like little areas that
Mm-hmm.
I need to kind of patch up um that people can enter into or like um entities can attach to. So all these little things that are happening, if I don't patch them now, it's going to take something bigger to get my attention. And this is what happens with every single person with their trauma loops that they go through. It's like
Mm-hmm.
constantly trying to refine you and build you and like help you come more into center. But people freaking don't listen, or they're like, no, I just need to date that same freaking loser again or whatever and like and learn my lesson the 15th time. After this time it's now escalated, and we went through this whole thing with Ryan in our last episode of how it escalated over time to even physical violence to wake him up because we don't listen to the little nudges and we're trained to override our body's signals of like, I don't like this doesn't feel good, this person's bad news. And I'm learning these now of like setting boundaries on the front end versus cleaning it up on the back end, super messy. And this is where it's like being authentically you as often as possible. And that's what's happening now, where I'm having to cut all these things out of my life, where I'm like, I can't be
Shedding.
authentic in this space. It literally, the structure I built around me does not allow for me to go to the bathroom when I want to, like, speak my mind. Like, people are literally paying me so they can pull on my energy. Like, and they don't
Mhm.
know this. They don't know this. And it's like, I'm like, I can't be in this
But
structure
you know it.
anymore in my capacity. Like, before it wasn't pulling on my energy, but it's
Mhm.
starting to. And this is a sign I got to shift. I got to listen to it before it makes a big splash to get my attention. And that's what I was dealing with the last 2 days of, like, I'm freaking, like, losing it a little bit.
Mhm.
But thank God for you guys of grounding me back into, like, this space right here is like, ah, breath of fresh air. And my husband, he, like, talked to me for,
Yeah.
like, 45 minutes about it. But yeah.
But yeah, and can you imagine spread this out, like, if everybody just could figure out their own little way, and it's for everybody to figure out, like, we came by it I would say randomly, but let's be honest, we know it.
You wouldn't be the version of you right now
Yeah,
without
I
that
don't
reframing and that being in your life. So there has been a positive aspect. You've gained wisdom. And the thing is, people are going to gain introspection when they're not going to get the same responses. And that will help them on their healing journey when
Mhm.
they start to reframe. Because when people aren't reacting the same ways in the past, it lets them get a little space to be like, oh,
yeah.
they're different. You know, I don't have to attack.
Yeah, where I'm not like, "Fuck
But
off, fucker." Like, I'm
here's what's
not doing
crazy.
any of
You
that
wouldn't be
stuff,
you
yeah.
right now, this new version, because every moment you're moving into a new version,
Mhm.
which is built by those invisible bricks of experience and wisdom and knowledge. And when you start breaking those cycles and getting the wisdom, things start going faster because it's like you've been going up the roller coaster and this is for me. And then you're getting over the top and you're like,
Bruh.
oh man. And then that's when it gets good. Because I've studied and researched like awakening and enlightenment. And there's a point where life opens up when it's ready for you. It's no longer a struggle. And for me, like the past few weeks,
I was literally telling my husband this. I was like, "When the fuck am I gonna have, like, 2 months
yeah.
of just chill?"
And
Like
it's like if we repeat the responses to old cycles, we get stuck in it again. You know, you got to go again, go again. But when you're breaking them out, you know, it's like the universe is like, they're getting ready. They're learning. Because ultimately, I had this like,
That's exactly what I'm working on
yeah,
right now,
me
Paul.
too. Like, I had this like download of,
Like,
um, you're getting ready and things are amping up and you're going to have the humility to lead on a large level. Because literally, here's the
yeah,
thing, like I mentioned this earlier, like the power has shifted away from the narcissist and the people have stolen and
mhm.
it's shifted. They can feel it. They're panicking. And we have it now, our own power.
yeah. And what do narcissists do when they lose power? They lose their fucking
Narcissistic
shit.
Then they
injuries.
pull out all the stops and they
Yes.
try to
They're
attack
gonna
with
cling.
everything. And then what happens
Mhm.
is the people on the outside watching their attack see that it's not landing and see that that person doesn't deserve it. And they're like, because used to the narcissist would get the
It's their
person to
power.
respond and freak out. And then all attention goes to the victim who, like the narcissist makes look like attack them, but it's all fucking in secret. They're the one attacking, making themselves look like secret.
Deny, attack,
And
reverse
then
victim,
now
and
the veil
impending.
is lifted off of their craft work of hiding the victim assaulter. And like this is the
Mhm.
season where
Yeah.
this is the season where masks get ripped off.
It's fine.
You've been saying the
Guess
F word
what?
this whole time.
I caught myself moments after.
Shit's where you draw the line.
Cute,
Hey,
though. That's so sweet.
it's manly.
We
Ego says it's
try.
manly.
We try. Dude, you know what's crazy, though, is, like, the downloads I love your laugh. The downloads I keep getting, um, it's like we keep thinking, or at least I do, I keep thinking that stuff's gonna get pretty insane, like, out of nowhere, and it's gonna be like night and day switch. It's gonna be so fast. But what I'm realizing is when these shifts happen, like, for example, Epstein files drop. It's like you would expect everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the world's flipping upside down because, like, people are becoming aware." Nope, that's not what happened. It's just like, "Nope, gone." And then it's like, "Taste, done." And then on to the next. And it's like these things are slowly dripping in, so by the time we get to, say, using superpowers and, like, shooting fire out of our hands or whatever's gonna happen, it's gonna be, like, no big deal by
Mhm.
that time. Like, when that
Normalized.
actually happens, it's gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, this is just what happens." So same thing with the narcissist, like, becoming, we're becoming aware of the narcissist tactics. When that happens and the veil's lifted, it's gonna be like, "Yeah, duh, like, why couldn't we see this the whole time?
Mhm.
What were you doing?" It's no big deal.
Do you mind if I speak to what you were just saying? How, like, when the humans that are awakening come into their full power, and then that's like shown on a large scale, people are like, whatever. This is the message I've been receiving, is that we have to find a way to get people in groups to be in person with them. Because then when your eyes see it and it's not on the phone, you know it's not AI. You know it's not a hologram. This
Yep.
shit's real. And they can feel your energy because so much is lost between here and there. That's why I've been isolated, to keep me away from
Yeah,
groups
it's
of
true.
people. Because when I, like, in humility,
Mhm.
when I walk into a group of people, like, things change. Like, change. Like, egos are freaking attacked, jump up, like, people come up and just do asshole things to me randomly.
Yeah.
Or people, like, just automatically see my eyes and, like, they're just like, somebody's looking at me for real, and they're like, oh, and so, like, that's why we, the awakened individuals, have to find a way to start being in groups of people and being in person, because we can't, like, this is a great medium to share and connect
Yeah.
now, but it has to be legit, real
Yeah,
human
but it has
connection.
to evolve.
And I don't know where that is right now, and I don't know what that
Yeah.
looks like, but I know it's there.
I told you where it is, Paul.
Please remind me, good sir. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I already have that
More
plan,
people are
like, I already
moving.
have it all written out, like,
I
I
don't know
wrote
how many
the
freaking
whole business
people
plan.
are like, that is it's crazy because, like, say in my sessions or something like that, so many people have this vision of the future. They're all planning to, like, move to the freaking woods on, like,
Mhm.
acreage, whatever, huge plots of lands, compounds, stuff like that, like farming them or doing their own gardening. This is like
Like
even the people that aren't awake yet are saying this stuff. They're
mhm.
like, "Yeah, I planned to." 10 years ago, I was like, "We're gonna move to Tennessee once my son graduates high school." That's something we've always said, and this is way before I woke up. Um, so it's like we're all kind of like, "Boop, boop, boop." Is that where you're gonna have the ranch, by the way? Is it gonna be in Tennessee?
No,
That's where I'm gonna be.
like, 'cause like, I already have my eyes on the property, but, like, when the time's right, just have everything. And in this, like, I was in construction in Houston. Like, the place that I'm looking at is probably, you know, those contracting companies do work up there, and all I would have to do is make a few phone calls, like, with my connections, and get, like, the top contractors in Houston there, like, get it done real quick, 2 or 3 of them, and just pow, 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 and, like, already have the suppliers lined up for everything. So I can't do it in Tennessee, like, because part of it is
Okay,
calling
I'll
in.
travel.
Yeah, and but I could do it
I'll
so
astral travel.
kinetically fast. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a pretty good spot, like
Yo, we're gonna have, like, holograph if you ever heard about, like, extraterrestrial contact and stuff, which, Paul, I imagine you probably have, with all of your stories, I don't know.
Yeah.
No? So they use, like, holographic technology um, to depict, like
Mhm.
big messages and metaphor or whatever, stuff like that. So that's like the way of the future. It's funny because it's like what's in movies and stuff, like the hologram, but that is how they actually convey information, and it's all like organic technology, which is super freaking cool. But that is what's gonna happen. But to what you were saying, Paul, about being in crowds, and because I'm like my platform on social media is like for veterans and like mental health stuff. Like the number one thing I hear is like how they don't like being in crowds, and they're attributing it to PTSD. And I'm like, dude, it's freaking your abilities, bro. You can pick up on all the signals and stuff. But so I've noticed in my own personal life, like my neighborhood, we just had the Easter thing that my husband dressed up as the Easter bunny. It's hilarious. We called him Bucky the Bunny or whatever. He was brown and like looked really weird, and he was wearing like a regular clothes over it. Anyway, but as I'm around my neighbors, and I highly doubt they'll watch this, if they might, but it would likely be to make fun of me, I'm guessing, because they all think I'm a weirdo. But
We're the inside circle.
so
This is the inside circle.
the I've just gotten used to it. I'm like, yeah, I just accept it and laugh with them. I'm like, I totally get it because I would have felt the same way.
It's frustrating. Like they won't. They're too closed in to even like. We don't. We could be. We are cool with everybody. Like it's just when
Well,
they
it's
start.
like it's an energetic mismatch, and so this is where I'm alluding
Mhm.
to. It's like I was physically uncomfortable being in their presence because I could feel that they felt uncomfortable within my presence, and it
Yeah.
wasn't even anything I was doing. We talk about our normal stuff, but it was so uncomfortable, and I was like, I haven't been around them in months. So I was like, I don't know if I've just like been evolving so quickly that it's like almost unbearable to be in the same energetic space. Um, but it was uncomfortable for me because I'm battling my internal dialogue, which is like, you make everything awkward. You can't tell stories very well. Like just, that old programming. And then I'm reframing it in my mind of like, nope, they're on a different band. And I'm like forcing myself to be in this like different kind of wavelength uh situation.
So
But what's your what's your take for the veterans that you're saying we need to place ourselves in crowds and stuff, but like how do you manage that besides your little I'm gonna have to do what you do with your seasoning
But like,
concoction.
quick rabbit trail, like the character trigger is like a blank slate.
Yeah.
You're programming like your new personality, so you don't have the internal dialogue. You get to program it yourself. What?
Oh my gosh. No, my husband straight up said he doesn't have that chatter in his mind. I'm like, how? How do you
It's
not? He's
beautiful.
like, I don't know. I've never, what are you talking
That's not.
about? And I'm like,
Oh,
that's a thing?
The silent. Imagine just silence in your mind
you
when
can
you want.
have.
You're just like, oh, nothing going on in here. It's cool.
I can't even imagine what that would be
Well,
like. I
it's
literally
energy
can't
going
imagine
to a
that.
little spot, playing something, and pulling out a little file and playing it. And it's like AI. It's like, we're gonna play this insulting stuff, but we'll pull the scenario and make it fit. And so it's like energetically being fueled. And so it's like you, once you realize it's energetic and it's playing something, is like pulling out a memory or AI running, like you start being like, ooh, I'm not going to send it power. I'm going to power it down. It's like unplugging a light. It gets really simple when you start, like, your third eye really starts opening up to energy and you're messing with the Reiki stuff. Like, it gets really simple, just like, oh, that's energy being sent down a pathway, that's activating this. So I just won't send that energy there because energy follows awareness. And it's
Huh?
like, oh, ooh.
Mm.
Um,
Uh-huh.
but then, like,
I do everything all
do what?
wrong. I said I do everything all wrong apparently, because
Oh,
I
yeah, I
do
know he does it the
the
hard way.
opposite. Like instead of shutting the mind down when that happens, I turn it around, and that's how I learn stuff. Like,
Like, let me hear every voice at
yeah,
once.
give it to me. Like, and
That is
yeah,
what you do,
and
though.
That's so cool.
like, and I wonder
That's
sometimes, like, why, whatever. But yeah, like, I don't run.
But that's freaking awesome
I don't.
because, like, your approach, Paul, is not going to be the fit for everybody, and Ryan's will
No.
be a better fit for the people that freaking love paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, like, I'm learning. There's, you know, not meaning me out there, but like, that's okay. I've had that. I didn't want that. Like, it just, I
Yeah.
had to train myself to do it because of my situation. It wouldn't cut loose, and there's nothing I could do. Like, I tried everything, and I was doing it, but like, it just kept, the system kept letting it happen. And okay, I got to go take on the system then. So let me get big enough where I can do that. Where, okay, I see who's attacking me. It's not the person. And that's why I get mad at, I get frustrated with my family, like, because they're still operating. Oh, you know, they're acting like any of this is right and are mad at her. I'm like, is what she doing kind of bullshit? For sure. Like, that's annoying, and it's her daughter. Like, but what's really attacking her is that system. And like, most people are people to people. Like, everything I'm doing, I have to build myself up to breathe fire down a damn system. And I'm gonna, like, it just, I have to take that damage. I have to take that pain, and I have to transmute it. I
Yeah.
have to
But I bet
alchemize
you
it.
there's somebody
You're
watching that
building
it
up your
resonates with,
character.
Sucks.
and that they need to hear your message.
Yeah.
And so,
No, for sure. Like, if they do,
so
come
it's
on.
like
Like,
when you say like
let's
I'm doing it
roll.
wrong, no, like you're like you're
Yeah.
forging a path for other people to follow. They're like, oh man, I've been waiting for this. Yes.
It's the painful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then honestly, people probably are doing this intuitively as well, and they don't have words for it because maybe they
Yeah.
didn't quite wake up to the extent of which, we
they're
all
afraid to talk
individually
about
have
it.
in our own paths. So like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like,
totally.
masochist.
And honestly, this is I think, because like a year ago, before TikTok was hijacked by the American,
Yeah.
government, whatever.
Thanks, America.
I felt a push to get on TikTok, and like all of us did. Like, and this is where we're meeting each other. It's hilarious because like shit's getting used against them. But what I had to come up against though was like I had to face my biggest fears and do it anyway, kind of thing. And I got to download that there's not very many of us here, and I didn't. In the moment, it felt like on Earth, but maybe it's like the people I'm supposed to meet. There's not very many, and that the only way I'm gonna meet my people is when I start speaking authentically, and that's when they're gonna come. That's when your tribe will show up or whatever. And it took a year. Where the fuck have you guys been?